John Miller stared out the viewport at the massive space station. The gleaming metal structure hung against the backdrop of unfamiliar stars. After 6 months of space travel, he had finally arrived at the seat of the Galactic Council. As Earth's first official diplomat to the stars, John felt the weight of 7 billion humans on his shoulders. "Ambassador Miller, we will dock in 5 minutes," said the pilot over the intercom. "The council representatives are waiting to greet you." John straightened his blue tie and brushed invisible dust from his gray suit. He had practiced his introduction speech hundreds of times. Earth needed resources, technology, and allies. The recent climate disasters had pushed their civilization to the brink. This meeting had to go well. The small diplomatic vessel shuddered as it connected to the docking bay. John took a deep breath and stepped toward the airlock. "Remember," said his assistant, "the briefing said to remain calm and respectful at all times. These species have maintained peace for over 3,000 years." The door hissed open to reveal a reception area filled with beings of various shapes, sizes, and colors. John had studied the files on all 27 species that made up the Galactic Council, but seeing them in person was overwhelming. A tall, slender alien with iridescent skin approached. "Welcome, human ambassador. I am Zrel, representative of the Zelaxian Confederation and current council chairperson. We are most curious about your species." John extended his hand before remembering that handshakes weren't universal. He quickly converted the gesture into a small bow. "Thank you for accepting Earth into these proceedings. We are honored to join the galactic community." Zrel's large eyes blinked vertically. "A council meeting will begin shortly. We have allocated time for your introduction after the standard opening rituals." John followed Zrel through winding corridors into an enormous circular chamber. Representatives sat in tiered seating around a central speaking platform. Some floated in special tanks, others huddled under heat lamps, and a few appeared only as holograms. "You will be seated in the outer ring, as is customary for new species," Zrel explained, pointing to a simple chair near the edge of the room. The meeting began with a series of tones and lights that John assumed was some kind of formal opening. It continued for nearly an hour. John shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His briefing hadn't mentioned this extended ritual. Finally, Zrel spoke. "We now welcome the representative of planet Earth, a new sentient species seeking recognition." John walked to the central platform, his footsteps echoing in the quiet chamber. He cleared his throat. "Distinguished representatives of the Galactic Council, I bring greetings from Earth. Our planet faces serious resource shortages and environmental challenges. We seek point of procedure," interrupted a bulbous creature with multiple eye stalks. "The new species has not stated their evolutionary classification." John blinked. "I apologize. Humans are mammals, evolved from primates, point of procedure," called another voice, this one from a floating cloud of gas. "The representative has not acknowledged the Treaty of Proxima, which governs all council interactions." "I wasn't aware," John started. "The human must recite the acknowledgement of historical precedent before continuing," insisted a reptilian being. John looked to Zrel for help. "It is only 742 statements," Zrel said. "A brief formality." 3 hours later, John finally completed the required acknowledgments. His throat was dry, and his patience was wearing thin. He tried again to discuss Earth's urgent needs. "As I was saying, Earth requires assistance with several critical resource shortages. Our oceans are—" "The Council must break for the midday contemplation," announced Zrel. "We will resume in 2 hours." John stared in disbelief. "But I haven't even started my actual presentation." "All council procedures must be followed," said a small furry creature to his right. "Your primitive species problems will be addressed according to protocol." The representatives began filing out of the chamber. John stood alone on the platform, his carefully prepared speech undelivered. When Zrel approached, John couldn't hide his frustration. "How long do these meetings typically last?" he asked. "A standard council session is 14 hours, Zrel replied. "Today's agenda is quite light." John rubbed his temples. "I'm getting a bit annoyed." The reaction was immediate and unexpected. Zrel's iridescent skin paled to a dull gray. The representative took 3 quick steps backward. "The council will take a full recess," Zrel announced, voice trembling slightly. "All non-essential personnel should clear the diplomatic section." Representatives hurried from the room much faster than they had during the scheduled break. John stood confused on the platform. "Did I say something wrong?" He asked a nearby aide. The small green alien wouldn't meet his eyes. "The chairperson has called for emergency protocols. Please return to your quarters, human." John walked back to his assigned room, puzzled by the sudden change in atmosphere. Through his door, he could hear hurried conversations in the corridor. It displayed the warning signal. One voice whispered. "Are the defense systems activated?" asked another. "The historical records warned us about this," a third voice added. "Remember what happened to the Shindy when they encountered the human exploration vessel?" John pressed his ear to the door, trying to hear more. What was going on? All he had wanted was to get through his presentation and maybe grab some coffee in the council's secure chamber. The elder representatives gathered in an emergency session. Zrel stood at the center, still visibly shaken. "The human showed the preliminary threat display," Zrel reported. "It used the phrase, 'getting annoyed,' and exhibited the facial tension markers exactly as our historical analysis predicted." A collective murmur of concern spread through the group. "Were any weapons detected?" asked the reptilian representative. "None visible," Zrel replied, "but humans are known to conceal their capabilities." The representative from the oldest species present, a being of pure energy contained in a special field, glowed brighter. "We have limited data on humans, but what we do know is troubling. They evolved as predators, yet developed complex empathy. They form social bonds with other predator species for companionship. Their entertainment frequently depicts their own extinction. Most concerning, they developed nuclear weapons before achieving space travel." "What are our options?" asked the gas cloud representative. "We must appease them," Zrel decided. "Grant their resource requests immediately. Assign them favorable trading terms. Whatever we must do to prevent escalation." The representatives nodded in agreement. Back in his quarters, John Miller stared out at the unfamiliar stars, completely unaware that his simple expression of mild frustration had just reshaped galactic politics forever. 2 weeks after John Miller's abrupt departure from the Galactic Council, Lisa Garcia arrived at the same space station. The Earth government had recalled John and sent Lisa in his place. They told her only that there had been a diplomatic misunderstanding that needed to be fixed. Lisa stepped off the transport ship wearing her best diplomatic uniform. She was surprised to find a large welcoming party waiting for her. At least 30 alien representatives stood in a wide semicircle, keeping a noticeable distance. "Welcome, Human Ambassador Garcia," said Zrel, the Zolaxian representative. "We are most pleased by your arrival and wish to assure you that all your needs will be met promptly." Lisa smiled politely. "Thank you for the warm welcome. I look forward to continuing the talks that Ambassador Miller began." At the mention of John's name, several aliens flinched visibly. Lisa pretended not to notice. "We have prepared special quarters for you," Zrel continued. "They have been designed to human specifications with many comfort features. We hope they will prevent any discomfort." The quarters were indeed impressive. The room was 3 times larger than standard diplomatic housing. It contained a waterbed, a phone bed, and an anti-gravity sleeping platform. The temperature controls could be adjusted to any setting. There was even a room filled with exercise equipment. "This is very generous," Lisa said, "but it seems excessive for one person." "Nothing is excessive when it comes to human comfort," Sorrel insisted. "The Council has also approved all of Earth's resource requests. The first shipments of rare minerals and atmospheric stabilizers will begin tomorrow." Lisa blinked in surprise. "That's wonderful news. But we haven't even presented our full proposal yet." "No need," Sorrel said quickly. "The Council has classified Earth as a priority partner species. Your requests take precedence." After Sorrel left, Lisa sat down at her desk and reviewed the diplomatic files. Something strange was happening. John's mission had been expected to take months of careful negotiation. Yet here she was, being granted everything without discussion. The next morning, Lisa met with her small staff in the Human Embassy section. Among them was Alan Ross, a junior diplomat fresh out of training. "Ambassador, I've been reviewing the Galactic Council's species classification database," Alan said. "I found something interesting about how they've categorized humans." He pulled up a holographic display showing alien text and symbols. "They've classified us as apex predator. Diplomatic caution required. We're in the same category as something called the Vorn Dominion, which apparently went extinct after destroying 3 solar systems." Lisa frowned. "That can't be right. We've barely left our own solar system." "There's more," Alan continued. "Look at these notes from their xenobiology division." The display changed to show a list of human traits with alien annotations. "Only known species to domesticate predators for emotional bonding. Creates entertainment media about own extinction scenarios. Developed planet-killing weapons before achieving space travel. Shows remarkable restraint before violence, interpreted as tactical patience. Warning: expression of minor irritation indicates imminent aggression." Lisa read the last line twice. "Is this some kind of joke?" "I don't think so, Ambassador," Alan replied. "There are multiple references to a Miller incident in their security logs, but those files are restricted." Lisa tapped her fingers on the table. "So they think we're dangerous because we get annoyed?" "It seems that way. Most Council species evolved from prey animals. Their neurological response to threats is immediate flight. The concept of feeling irritation without taking immediate action is apparently unique to humans." Later that day, Lisa attended her first council meeting. The experience was nothing like she expected. When she entered the chamber, all conversations stopped. The representatives quickly moved to their seats, leaving a wide empty space around the human section. "The council recognizes Human Ambassador Garcia," Sorrel announced. "Would you like to address us? We are prepared to listen to any concerns or requests you may have." Lisa stepped to the central platform. "Thank you, Chairperson Sorrel. I am here to continue building friendly relations between Earth and the Galactic Council. While we appreciate the approved resource shipments, we hope to establish more permanent trade agreements and cultural exchanges." "All approved," Sorrel said immediately. "The Council votes unanimously in favor of permanent trade status and cultural exchange programs with Earth." There was no debate, no questions, not even a formal vote. Just immediate agreement. "That's very efficient," Lisa said. "I also wanted to discuss the possibility of human ships having access to the galactic transit lanes." "Granted," Sorrel replied. "Human vessels will receive priority clearance in all transit sectors. We have already begun updating the navigation beacons." The meeting continued in this strange pattern. Every suggestion Liza made was approved without discussion. When she mentioned setting up an Earth embassy on 3 major worlds, the representatives of those worlds nearly fell over themselves, offering prime locations. As the meeting drew to a close, Lisa accidentally dropped her datapad. The device clattered loudly on the floor. "This is frustrating," she muttered as she bent to pick it up. The reaction was immediate and alarming. Several representatives backed away from their seats. One small amphibian-like alien dove under its desk. Zrel's skin changed from iridescent blue to pale white. "The council calls an emergency recess," Zrel announced, voice trembling. "All non-essential personnel should evacuate immediately." Lisa stood bewildered as the chamber emptied in less than 30 seconds. Later that evening, Alan burst into her office. "Ambassador, you need to see this," he said, holding up his datapad. "I've been monitoring their communication channels. 3 star systems near Zalaxian space have just been evacuated." "What? Why?" "The official order cites preventative safety measures, following a human diplomatic expression of frustration." Alan looked up from the screen. "They evacuated entire planets because you dropped your datapad." Lisa sat down heavily. "This is completely absurd." "There's something else," Alan added. "I managed to access some historical records about early human-alien contact. Apparently, the first human scout ship that met the Zulaxians had some kind of confrontation. The human captain said they were getting tired of waiting during a communication delay." "And what happened?" "According to their records, the Zulaxian ship immediately surrendered and offered their cargo as a peace offering." Lisa pinched the bridge of her nose. "So they think we're dangerous because we get impatient? This is going to be complicated to fix." "Actually," Alan said with a hint of a smile, "it might be useful. The Council has approved everything we've asked for. Earth is getting resources we desperately need." "But it's based on a misunderstanding," Lisa protested. "A misunderstanding that's working in our favor," Alan pointed out. "Maybe we shouldn't be too quick to correct it." Lisa looked out the viewport at the gleaming space station. Somewhere out there, 3 star systems were being evacuated because she dropped a datapad. The situation was ridiculous, but Alan had a point. Earth needed those resources. "Let's take some time to think about this," she said finally. "In the US. Meantime, tell everyone on the human diplomatic team to be very careful about expressing any negative emotions in public." "Yes, Ambassador," Alan replied with a small smile. "We wouldn't want anyone to get annoyed." 6 months after Lisa Garcia's arrival at the Galactic Council, Earth's position in interstellar politics had improved dramatically. Resource shipments flowed freely to Earth. Human scientists gained access to advanced alien technologies. Several Earth colonies were established on resource-rich planets with the full blessing of the Council, all because the aliens thought humans might destroy them if annoyed. Earth's government decided to take advantage of this strange situation. They sent Admiral Paul Wright to represent Earth at the Galactic Defense Summit. As the head of Earth's small but growing space fleet, Paul was tasked with securing protection for human colonies and trade routes. Paul was a tall man with short gray hair and a serious expression. He had spent 30 years in the Navy before transferring to the new Space Force. He was not a diplomat. That was exactly why Earth sent him. The Defense Summit took place on a massive space station near the border of several major alien territories. Representatives from 50 species attended, including several that were not part of the Galactic Council. Paul arrived wearing his formal military uniform with all his medals and ribbons. 2 junior officers accompanied him as aides. They were immediately escorted to a large private suite. "The security meeting begins in 3 hours, Admiral," said his Zalaxian guide. "Is there anything you require before then?" "Just a map of the station and the meeting schedule," Paul replied. The guide handed him a data tablet. "All humans have been granted highest security clearance. You may access any area of the station." Paul raised an eyebrow. "That's unusually generous. The Galactic Defense Committee values Earth's perspective on security matters," the guide said carefully before hurrying away. Lieutenant Kelly Fisher, one of Paul's aides, looked at her own tablet. "Sir, according to this, we've been assigned a special seating area in the central discussion chamber, right next to the Galactic Council security chiefs. That can't be right, Paul said. Earth just joined the galactic community. We should be in the observer section. When they entered the massive meeting chamber 3 hours later, Paul discovered that the information was correct. 3 large, comfortable chairs waited for the humans in a prime location. The seats were surrounded by a subtle but noticeable clear space, as if the other species wanted to maintain a safe distance. As the meeting began, Paul listened carefully to the discussions about pirate activities, border disputes, and defense technology sharing. He noticed that whenever he shifted in his seat or frowned slightly, nearby aliens would tense up, and the speaker would quickly change topics. During a discussion about patrol responsibilities, a representative from a species called the Miraxians took the floor. They resembled tall, thin humans with blue skin and forearms. According to Paul's briefing, the Miraxian Empire controlled 30 star systems on the edge of Council space. The Miraxian Empire rejects the current patrol boundary proposal, the representative announced. We have historical claims to the Orion Transit Corridor that predate Council authority. We will extend our security forces to protect these interests. This declaration caused immediate concern among the other representatives. The Orion Corridor was an important trade route that passed near one of Earth's new colonies. The Council Security Chief, a reptilian being named Threx, responded firmly. The Orion Corridor is neutral space under the Transit Treaty. No single power may claim exclusive patrol rights. The Miraxian representative made a dismissive gesture with one of his 4 arms. The treaty does not apply to historical territories. We will begin patrols next month. Paul leaned forward. This could threaten Earth's supply lines. The Orion Corridor provides access to Earth's colony on Proxima B, he said. We have ships in that region. The Miraxian turned his gaze to Paul. Human vessels should remain near Earth. Your species is new to space travel and does not understand the complexities of galactic politics. Several aliens gasped at this direct challenge to a human. The room grew tense. Paul took a deep breath. He had been instructed to use this opportunity. I'm really tired of this conversation, he said, removing his glasses and rubbing his eyes. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Miraxian representative stepped back so quickly he nearly fell over. The blue color drained from his face. The Miraxian Empire recognizes Earth's interest in the Orion Corridor, he said quickly. We withdraw our claim and offer joint patrol rights as a gesture of friendship. Paul blinked in surprise. He hadn't expected such a complete reversal. That would be acceptable, he said slowly. The Miraxian Empire also offers control of 3 outer colony worlds as peace tokens, the representative added desperately. They are rich in rare minerals that humans might find valuable. The chamber fell. Silent. The Miraxian was offering valuable worlds just because Paul had expressed mild frustration. I appreciate the gesture, Paul said, unsure how to respond. Earth would be interested in discussing resource-sharing agreements. They are gifts, the Miraxian insisted. No discussion needed. The transfer documents will be prepared immediately. The rest of the meeting was equally strange. When Paul mentioned Earth's interest in defense technology, 3 different species offered their latest designs. When he frowned during a discussion about restricted weapons, the entire topic was immediately dropped from the agenda. By the end of the summit, Earth had secured protection for all its colonies, access to advanced defense systems, and 3 resource-rich worlds from the Miraxians, all without a single threat. Later, in their private quarters, Lieutenant Fisher reviewed the day's events. Sir, I don't understand what just happened. The Miraxians are known for their aggressive expansion. Why would they surrender valuable territory just because you said you were tired? Paul shook his head. I have no idea. Contact Earth Command and inform them of these developments. Something very strange is happening. The next morning, Paul was summoned to meet with Threx, the Council Security Chief. Admiral Wright, Threx said when they were alone, I must apologize for yesterday's incident. We should have warned you about the Miraxians. What exactly happened? Paul asked. Why did they give up so easily? Threx's reptilian eyes blinked. Slowly. Most species believed that humans were exaggerating their restrained nature. The Miraxians decided to test this belief. Our restrained nature? Yes. When you displayed the pre-attack warning signal, the Miraxian representative realized their error. They are fortunate you accepted their peace offering. Paul stared at the alien. My pre-attack warning signal? Removing your visual aids. And expressing fatigue with the conversation, Threx explained. The Galactic database now contains extensive warnings that human annoyance precedes extinction-level events. Paul struggled to keep his face neutral. That's an interesting interpretation. The Council has granted humans extraordinary authority to prevent incidents, Threx continued. Your species' remarkable ability to suppress violent impulses is both terrifying and admirable. We are grateful that Earth chooses peaceful cooperation despite its obvious capacity for dominance. As Paul left the meeting, he couldn't help but smile. Earth's diplomatic corps had tried for months to explain that humans weren't dangerous, but the aliens preferred their own interpretation. Somehow, human annoyance had become the most feared force in the galaxy. He would need to be very careful about complaining about the food in the station's cafeteria. Who knew what star systems might be offered in apology? Dr. Kate Howard had never expected to become a diplomat. As a neurobiologist specializing in human stress responses, she had spent most of her career in research labs. But after the strange events at the Galactic Defense Summit, Earth's government needed someone who could explain human emotions to aliens. Kate was the perfect choice. She arrived at the Galactic Science Conference with a simple mission: explain that humans were not dangerous when annoyed. The misunderstanding had benefited Earth so far, but government officials worried about potential long-term problems. What if an accidental human outburst caused an interstellar panic? The conference was held on a beautiful ocean world called Aquara. Thousands of scientists from across the galaxy gathered to share knowledge. Kate's presentation was scheduled for the main hall on the second day dot as she prepared her notes in her hotel room. Kate felt nervous. How do you tell an audience that everything they believe about your species is wrong? Dr. Howard, it's time to head to the conference center, said Ben Carter, her assistant. Ben was a young diplomat assigned to help Kate navigate alien customs. I'm ready, Kate said, gathering her data tablets. Let's hope this goes well. The main hall was enormous, with seating for beings of all shapes and sizes. Some floated in bubbles of special gas. Others sat in pools of liquid. The diversity was amazing. Kate was surprised to find the hall completely full for her presentation. Word had spread quickly about the human scientist who would discuss their species' emotional responses. A tall, insect-like being introduced her. We welcome Dr. Kate Howard of Earth, who will present findings on human neurological patterns. This is considered essential information for all diplomatic and scientific personnel. Kate stepped up to the podium and smiled at the audience. Thank you for that kind introduction. Today I want to discuss human emotional states, particularly what happens when humans experience minor frustration or annoyance. A visible ripple of tension moved through the audience. Several beings moved back in their seats. Contrary to what you may have heard, Kate continued, humans experiencing mild annoyance are not preparing for violent action. Let me show you the neurological data. She displayed brain scans on the large screen behind her. When humans feel annoyed, these areas of the brain show increased activity. but notice that the aggression centers remain largely inactive. Kate tried to continue her explanation, but questions kept interrupting her. Is it true humans can delay attack responses for strategic advantage? Asked a floating cloud-like being. No, that's not, Kate began. How many warning stages exist before a human initiates violence? Called out another alien. That's not how it works, Kate tried to explain. We're not. What is the safest response when a human displays the eye-rubbing threat signal? Asked a small furry creature. The questions came faster and more frantically. Kate couldn't finish a single explanation. After 10 minutes of interruptions, she felt her own annoyance growing. Please, she said firmly, let me finish. The room went completely silent. Several aliens near the front row ducked beneath their seats. One delegation immediately left through a side door. Kate sighed. I'm not angry. I'm just trying to explain that humans don't become dangerous when we're annoyed. No one seemed to believe her. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. After the disastrous presentation, Kate retreated to a quiet garden area in the conference center. She sat on a bench, feeling defeated. May I join you, Dr. Howard? Asked a melodic voice. Kate looked up to see a tall, elegant being with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer with faint lights. She recognized the species from her briefing materials. A Volturi, one of the oldest known races in the galaxy. Of course, Kate said, moving over on the bench. I am Salef, the being said, sitting gracefully beside her. I found your presentation most interesting, despite the unfortunate reactions. You mean the panic? Kate asked with a small smile. Indeed, the younger species are quite excitable. Scythe's voice held a hint of amusement. But I believe I understand what you are trying to explain. Kate looked at the alien with surprise. You do? The Volturi have been studying humans secretly since your species first achieved spaceflight, Saleth explained. We find your psychological makeup fascinating. Then you know we're not dangerous when annoyed? On the contrary, Saleth said. Humans are potentially very dangerous. But not in the way the Council believes. Kate frowned. What do you mean? Most sentient species evolved from prey animals, Saleth explained. Their response to threat is immediate. Fight or flight, with a strong preference for flight. Their biochemistry does not allow for the human ability to experience frustration without immediate action. That's what I was trying to explain, Kate said. But you missed the important part, Saleth continued. The ability to feel annoyance, but delay. Response is an evolutionary advantage, unique to predator species like humans. It allows for tactical patience. Most galactic species cannot comprehend this separation between feeling and action. To them, it seems like terrifying restraint before an inevitable explosion. Kate considered this. So they're afraid because we can be annoyed without immediately acting on it. Precisely. In their experience, any creature that shows restraint when provoked must be saving its energy for a devastating attack. The fact that humans rarely follow through with violence only makes you seem more unpredictable and dangerous. That's completely backward, Kate protested. Is it? Saleth asked. Consider your own history. Humans have fought wars over minor provocations. You have developed weapons capable of destroying your own planet. You form emotional attachments to natural predators and keep them in your homes. From an evolutionary perspective, your species is terrifying. Kate was silent for a moment. Put that way, perhaps the alien's fear made some sense. I should go back and try to explain this better, she said finally. I would advise against it, Saleth replied. The Galactic Council is preparing to debate human classification tomorrow. I will present the Volturi findings, which confirm your basic point about human neurological responses. Will that help fix the misunderstanding? Kate asked hopefully. Saleth's shimmering skin pulsed slightly in What might have been the alien equivalent of a shrug. Unlikely. No species wants to risk the consequences of being wrong about humans. The Council finds it safer to assume you are dangerous, but restrained. But that's not fair to either side, Kate argued. Perhaps not, Seleth agreed. But it has brought peace. Earth has gained resources and protection. The other species behave more respectfully toward humans. Is understanding more important than harmony? Kate didn't have a good answer. The misunderstanding had indeed benefited Earth enormously. Maybe trying to correct it was the wrong approach. The next day, Kate attended the Council debate on human classification. As Seleth had predicted, despite the Volturi's scientific presentation, the Council voted to maintain the classification of humans as apex predator, diplomatic caution required. The official Council report included a new warning. When a human states they wish to finish speaking or requests that others let them finish, immediate compliance is strongly advised. Kate couldn't help laughing when she read it. She had come to explain that humans weren't dangerous when annoyed, and had somehow made the situation even more confused. On her return journey to Earth, she composed her report for the government. Her recommendation was simple: stop trying to correct the misunderstanding. Some misconceptions were too useful to fix. 10 years had passed since John Miller first told the Galactic Council he was getting a bit annoyed. In that decade, Earth had become a major power in galactic politics. Human colonies thrived on 12 worlds. Earth ships traveled freely through all major trade routes. The resource crisis that had once threatened human civilization was long resolved, all because aliens thought humans might destroy them if irritated. Eric Bennett sat in his office on the rebuilt Galactic Council station. As Earth's new chief diplomat, he had the difficult job of maintaining the delicate balance of the misunderstanding that benefited humanity while preventing actual conflicts. Ambassador Bennett, the council session begins in 30 minutes, said his assistant, Myra Lewis. The new honesty protocol will be the main topic today. Eric nodded. Are the Zulaxians still opposing it? Yes, sir. They think it's too dangerous. Eric smiled slightly. The honesty protocol was his own initiative, a system where species would state their actual concerns directly instead of hiding behind complex diplomatic rituals. Most council members supported it, but some of the older species were resistant. They'll come around, Eric said, standing up and straightening his formal jacket. Is the Earth delegation ready? Yes, sir. And Admiral Wright sent a message. The Joint Patrol Fleet has successfully driven the pirates from the Orion sector. Eric checked his appearance in the mirror. At 42, his dark hair was just beginning to show gray at the temples. 10 years of space living had kept him fit, but added lines around his eyes. He looked exactly as a human diplomat should, calm, composed, and just a little bit intimidating. The council chamber was even more impressive than it had been a decade ago. The circular room could now accommodate representatives from 112 species. Earth's delegation had a prominent position in the inner ring, a sign of their importance in galactic affairs. Zrel, still the Zulaxian representative after all these years, called the session to order. A council recognizes Ambassador Bennett of Earth, who will discuss the proposed honesty protocol. Eric walked to the central platform. The other representatives watched him carefully, as they always watched humans. Fellow council members, Eric began, for 10 years we have worked together to build peace across the galaxy. But our diplomatic system remains burdened by excessive rituals and indirect communication. The honesty protocol would allow us to state our actual concerns clearly and resolve issues more efficiently. A small, furry representative spoke up. The Trill Confederation supports this initiative. Our people value direct communication. The Miraxian Empire also supports the protocol, said their four-armed representative. the Miraxians had become. Strong allies of Earth after the famous incident with Admiral Wright, Zrel raised a slender hand. The Zulaxian Confederation has concerns. Direct communication may lead to unintended provocations. Everyone understood what Zrel meant. The Zulaxians worried that honest communication might annoy humans. Eric smiled reassuringly. The purpose of the protocol is to prevent misunderstandings, not create them. Earth fully supports open dialogue and promises not to take offense at honest concerns. There was a murmur of appreciation from the gathered representatives. The humans were being generous as always. The vote passed overwhelmingly. The honesty protocol would be implemented immediately, changing how galactic diplomacy functioned. It was a major victory for Eric's diplomatic approach. After the council session, Eric met with his team in the Earth Embassy. The room was filled with both human diplomats and representatives from several alien species who worked as cultural advisors. The protocol is a significant step forward, Eric told them. But we still have the underlying problem. Most species believe humans are constantly restraining violent impulses. Is that really a problem? Asked Mira. It's worked in our favor for a decade. It works until it doesn't, Eric replied. What happens when a human tourist gets genuinely angry in public? Or when a human child throws a tantrum? We can't have entire star systems evacuated every time someone has a bad day. Saleif, the Volturi who had once spoken with Dr. Howard, now served as an advisor to the Earth delegation. The perception is deeply ingrained, the silvery being said. It may take generations to change. We've established a special diplomatic corps to handle this issue, Eric reminded them. Every human traveling off Earth receives training on emotional expression. The incidents have been minimized. Speaking of incidents, Myra said, checking her data tablet, we have a situation developing in the Proxima system. Pirates have attacked a human colony. Our nearest ship is 3 days away. Eric frowned. Pirates had become bolder in recent years, targeting isolated colonies despite the increased patrols. Contact Admiral Wright. We need to coordinate a response. The pirates who attacked the human colony on Proxima B were not affiliated with any known species. They were outcasts from various worlds who preyed on vulnerable settlements. They had hit the colony hard, destroying its defensive systems and demanding surrender. They had never encountered humans before and didn't know the unwritten rule of galactic society. Never make humans annoyed. When the colony leader tried to negotiate, the pirate captain laughed. Your reinforcements are days away. Surrender now, or we will destroy your settlement piece by piece. The colony leader, a former Earth diplomat named Susan Clark, looked directly at the pirate on the communication screen. We will not surrender. And I have to tell you, we are beyond annoyed by this attack. The word spread quickly through the pirate fleet. Some of the crew members who had spent time in civilized space recognized the warning signs. They tried to alert their captain. Sir, the humans have issued a final warning. We should retreat immediately. The captain dismissed their concerns. They're bluffing. Their weapons are disabled. 3 hours later, Admiral Wright's fleet arrived through the system's jump point, much earlier than expected. The human ships had pushed their engines beyond safe limits to reach the colony. Pirate fleet found itself surrounded. The Admiral's message was brief. You have attacked a human colony after being warned of our annoyance. Surrender or be destroyed. The pirates surrendered immediately. Those who knew the stories about humans made sure their captain raised the white flag before the humans could become truly angry. News of the incident spread across the galaxy. 3 previously unknown species on the Outer Rim immediately sent representatives to Earth requesting alliance treaties. They had heard the stories when Eric received the report about the pirate surrender. He couldn't help laughing. We've come full circle, he told Saleif. We've spent years trying to convince everyone we're not dangerous when annoyed, and then we use that exact reputation to save a colony. Perhaps it is not such a bad reputation to have, Saleith observed. Fear can prevent violence more effectively than friendship. Maybe, Eric agreed, but I prefer honest respect to fear. That evening, Eric met with the Galactic Council's Executive Committee to discuss the pirate incident. The alien representatives were relieved that the situation had been resolved without humans becoming truly angry. As the meeting concluded, the oldest member of the council, a being so ancient its species name had been forgotten, spoke directly to Eric. In my many centuries observing galactic politics, I have seen empires rise and fall based on misunderstandings. Yet never have I seen a more productive misconception than the galaxy's fear of annoyed humans. Eric smiled. We've tried to correct it. Perhaps that is why you are trusted, the ancient being replied. Your honesty about your nature makes your restraint all the more impressive. As Eric left the council chamber, he saw a sign newly posted on the wall. It was written in the standard galactic language, but the meaning was clear to everyone. When humans express annoyance, take it very seriously indeed. The misunderstanding that began with John Miller's simple comment had become the foundation of galactic peace. Humans knew they weren't as dangerous as aliens believed, and aliens preferred to maintain the illusion that kept everyone behaving politely. Sometimes, Eric thought the most useful diplomatic tool was letting others believe what they wanted to believe, especially when it kept the galaxy peaceful and Earth prosperous. And if occasionally he had to pretend to be annoyed to solve a crisis, that was a small price to pay for galactic harmony.